This is one of Marianne's questions. What could make my world better? Have you sat down and thought about it? Give yourself an hour. Maybe if you're not rushing back to the office, come and spend half an hour in the park here and just ask yourself that question. What would I like to change? Who or what needs to go? I'll say no more. What goals should you set for yourself? Name 10 things you'd like to do before you die. I remember once watching one of those programs, 100 things to do before you die. And I sat there as an overachiever with a list. And I realized how dreadfully unadventurous I was. I don't want to do the sharks. I don't want to jump out of a plane. I don't want to scuba dive. There were only about 4 or 5 things that I was prepared to do. But what are those things? Have you written them down? We've all heard the research of the people who do that. A few years ago, I did an SMI course on motivation, and they spoke of this chap who put down 142 goals of what he'd like to do with his life, including languages and skills he wanted to learn. And what they discovered is that by the time I think he was about 47, he was on 90 odd of those things. And it's amazing what he'd actually achieved in that time. And another thing to understand is if your goals do not excite and inspire you, then you haven't found the right goals. So a question to ask is, what have you decided to do this year, in 2012, to make your life better, to make your world better? As I say, for me, it was simple little steps that I decided to do. A lot of the stuff I was already doing, and I know it sounds crazy. A lot of you have followed my, I don't want to even call it progress, but my journey through all the talks. I'm always sharing my ideas, but certain things that have always worked for me, I'm carrying on. I do a list of what I'm going to do this year, like how many books I want to read. But this year, what was quite interesting, I realized if I wanted to take time out of my very busy schedule, I had to then take time away from something. And that was a big question to ask, where am I going to steal the time from? So what I decided to do was to limit the talks I do, limit the networking events that I go to, so that it gave me more time to do the stuff that mattered a little bit more. I've really missed all those fun things, but I'm enjoying the other aspects, if that makes sense. So a question to ask yourself is, should I take time from somewhere? And you know the statistics, Nathan, of people watching TV, how many hours a week are people watching? I think it's about 5 hours a day. Some people are watching 5 hours of TV a day. So you've got to ask yourself, if that is you, which I don't think it would be any one of us, then maybe you could steal an hour or 2 out of that.